Hey, friends, good to see you. Thanks for being here. This class is Contradictory Cards, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Thanks to those of you who are here with us live. And I'm just laughing so hard at the comments regarding the picture that we chose for this class. What I did was I went to Adobe Stock and I asked for a confused tarot reader. And that's what I got. And IT John made him even better by giving him the WTF. So that is what we're doing today. The cards and the situations in tarot that make you confused. If you're watching the replay, thanks so much for being here. Please drop a comment. For those of you who are here live, thank you so much for being here. And of course, a special shout out to the members and the moderators. So what do we mean by contradictory cards? I would argue that each and every one of us deals with these things. And the goal of this class is to make them less scary. So I'm going to want a lot of feedback from you all, but we're going to move quickly. I've got a lot of things I want to get through today. So we're going to move quickly. So for those of you who are here with me live, please do feedback, but tag what it's about, because otherwise I'll get confused and you don't want me looking like the dude in that picture. All right. So what do we mean by contradictory cards? What are ways that cards can be contradictory? And, the most obvious is when the card just doesn't seem to fit the question or the position. And I'm sure you've dealt with this. Now, I often hear new tarot students being confused even based on suit. So for instance, if it's a love question and they don't get a cups card, they don't know what to do with it. And for them, that feels contradictory. So tag it simply with a question mark, because that's easy, and let me know of a particular time or a particular thing that can happen for you that makes you confused or that feels contradictory. And I'm going to give you the list that I came up with. So one is the card is just weird in the position or in answer to the question. One is when it's not resonating. I mean, that's contradictory too. What do you do when the card's not resonating? Whether you're reading for yourself or reading for someone else, we believe that whatever card comes up has meaning. What if it's not making sense? We're going to play with that. Weird card combinations. When the cards together, if you say we're doing a 2-card reading, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to pull 2 cards, and those cards don't make sense together. Likewise, if there's a spread, and the whole spread makes sense and is one way, and then there's one card in there that's just like completely different, that can be contradictory as well. So I think another way that we can see contradiction is if you're asking the same question. This may be why readers say, don't ask the same question over and over and over again. But if you ask the same question more than once in a short period of time and a different answer comes up, what do you do with that? So let me know. Diana Price, you said you wouldn't forget, but you are here. You almost forgot, but you are here. So let me know ways that you have seen cards be contradictory or ways that cards have confused you, and tag it with a question mark. One thing that I notice is that another way that cards can feel contradictory is when you're dealing with a card that has a very wide range when it comes to interpretation. And I was going through the deck and thinking about which cards, in my opinion, have the widest range of possibility. And I'm going to go over to CardCam and show them to you. But it's interesting that they're all major arcana. And so do we think that major arcana cards have a greater tendency to have a wide range of potential meanings greater than minor arcana cards? I don't know. Which cards do you think have the widest range of possibility? Tag it wide and tell me which card you think has the widest range. So here we go. Betty Flesher, good to see you. Thanks for being a member. When will I get married? Got the Four of Wands, the Three of Swords, the Hierophant, and the Ten of Swords, like WTF. I can clear that one up for you really quick. Okay, and here's how we would do it. Okay, so everyone listen. When will I get married? We got the Four of Wands, the Three of Swords, the Hierophant, and the Ten of Swords. So those are real contradictions, right? Four of Wands is a happy marriage. Three of Swords is heartbreak. Hierophant is literally a card that predicts marriage. Ten of Swords is not a marriage you would want. So this is a case where I don't think the answer is not going to be a timing answer. Very often when people ask when, the cards may come up with information about that topic, but it's not a when. So what I would do with that topic is say, look, with the Four of Wands and the Hierophant, you're asking this question because you really, really, really want to get married. But the chances are here, with the Three of Swords and the Ten of Swords, that because you want to get married so much, you will enter into a marriage that is ill-advised and will not work out. So you should not be asking of yourself or of me or of anyone, when will I get married? The right question for you is, how do I find the right person to marry? And then I'd do that reading. That's what I would do with that. Tell me what you think. That's what I would do there. Okay. Justine, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. We appreciate you. What about when you see majority minors in a spread that would encourage you to take a course of action, but then you see a casual world reversed in the spread and it's like, well, WTF, right? I could have just called this class WTF, right? Is this advisable or not? Yeah, that is a very good example of contradictory cards, and we will play with that. We absolutely will. Claire C., good to see you. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for being here. How does the Hierophant predict marriage? He's the priest. Who do you go see to get married? The priest. Likewise, marriage is a traditional value and a traditional thing that we do, and the Hierophant is about traditions. Diana Price, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. When a situation changes and you go to clarify and it's a complete reversal of the first reading, I hate it when that happens. And it does happen. And I think sometimes you just have to say, okay, this information that we got at first, we got because of this. Now we have more information, and now we can say, really it's looking like this. I think that that goes along with that. Yes, you can, Diana Price. You can tell everyone you're busy with your WTF class. Yes. Gianna, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Looking at the cards that have a particularly wide range. I'm still pretty new, but I feel like I hear such a range of things about the Page of Swords. Ooh, yeah, let's play with him. Can't figure out if he's negative or positive because apparently this can be a spy energy sometimes. Interesting. Wouldn't have thought that, but I suppose. Justine, one of the things that frustrates me pretty frequently is certain cards that come up reversed and how they can speak to such a wide range of opposites. For example, Seven of Pentacles reversed could be don't procrastinate, or it could say don't waste your time or energy. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So it's like, do it, just get her done, or it's not even worth doing. So that's so interesting. Let me find that card. Seven of Pentacles reversed. But even upright, it would kind of be the same thing. Here it is. Okay, good. I'm going to go over to Card Cam in a minute. Right. So Justine, you're really like playing with the reversals, and it makes a lot of sense. Eight of Pentacles reverse could say this isn't working, or it could say take a break. Six of Wands reverse, you need to be more confident in yourself versus this is not helping you move forward. Again, the contrast in interpreting these cards seems high in many ways. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And so let's go through this class and see if this can be helpful. Like, you're not wrong. And in all of those cases, what I would do is ask more questions and pull more cards. I have to tell you that. I would ask more questions and pull more cards, which honestly, to my way of thinking, a good solution to many problems at the tarot table is ask more questions and pull more cards. So that's what I would do in all of those situations. The cost of misinterpreting these cards seems high. Yeah, you're not joking. Absolutely. Absolutely. So there it is. All right. Let's move over to Card Cam, where we're going to start to play with the wide range of cards and then go to some other things. Justine, I agree. I hate how beginners are encouraged to do that, right? Betty Fleischer, someone on YouTube always calls the Seven of Pentacles the anxiety card. That's interesting. I could see it. And in fact, I've got the anxiety card. I've got the Seven of Pentacles right here. Pamela's insight, it depends on the context of surrounding cards. Very often, yes, which is why I say pull more cards. You know, there it is. All right, so let's get on over to Card Cam, where I have that Seven of Pentacles waiting for us. Hey, Free Shadow, glad you're here. Thanks for being here. All right, so here we go. So let's start with, okay, we're looking at, what we're talking about right now is sort of range of cards that can have a lot of range, and what do you do with that? And Justine, the Seven of Pentacles is reminding you of the Nine of Wands a lot at this moment. Well, they are both leaning on a stick. I mean, there is that. And they have both worked hard. So yeah, I could, in the Venn diagram, I could see that. So friends, is the Seven of Pentacles reversed saying, like, what's the range here? Saying, no matter what you do, your garden will not bloom, so just start a new garden? Or is it saying you're super tired and you need to rest? Or is it saying you just got to get back to it? Let's look at it right side up. You know, the interesting thing about the Seven of Pentacles, and I've talked about this before, culturally, this card has changed substantially over time. Originally, Pamela Coleman Smith and A.E. Waite were thinking about the Irish potato famine, which is a really interesting thing. It's why we have so many Irish Americans and such a connection between Ireland and America. But I have also learned recently that there never really was a famine, that it was more a political thing. In the British and Irish issues. I don't know about that. But if you look at this as a card of the potato famine, like the reason that people had to come to the US in droves is they were starving because they couldn't grow potatoes. And that was like the only food they were allowed to have under British rule. So, but take a look. Okay, here's a more modern Seven of Pentacles. Do you see how the card has changed? Here, we cannot be sure that this garden is really going to bloom, right? If we look at the very original meaning, like, and even like the Crowley keyword for this card is really, really negative. Now look over here. This is a much more modern Seven of Pentacles or Seven of Coins. So we can see that another way cards can be contradictory is deck to deck. And when we think about how our understanding of the cards grows and changes over time. So that comes into it as well. So what other cards do we want to look at here today? We wanted to look at, Gianna said, Gianna says Seven of Pentacles just looks like evaluation for me. Sure. Now you had also mentioned the Page of Swords, and you had mentioned it as speaking of spying, which I've never heard and never thought of. That wouldn't, but if you asked me, did this person check me out? Like, did this person check me out on social media? Yes. Is this person talking about me behind my back? Yes. Is this person conveying information about me? Yes. But from my perspective, that's just because this card is all about communication. Pages are about communication and swords are about communication. So this is like communication of communication. So I can see where we could get some gossipy energy there, which might be spying energy. And then Free Shadow, excuse me. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members only emojis. It's hard for me to determine if a court card is representing a person or an event in a querent's life. Damn straight. And I will tell you how I do that. And we'll do it with the Page of Swords right here. And this is, I hate to call it a pro reader trick because I don't want anyone thinking we are using trickery. But let's face it, every job has tricks. There are tricks of the trade. And here is the trick of the trade for me when it comes to court cards. The first thing I'll do is I'll be intuitive about it. Am I feeling it as a person? Am I not feeling it as a person? But if I am not getting a good intuitive hit, or if I want to be really careful, I will start by describing the person. So, and I might say, I might talk about the card specifically, and I might say this could mean a lot of different things, and it could mean a lot of different things all at the same time. So let me go through the list of things it could mean. Tell me what this applies to. It could be a person. Do you have kids? Do you have nieces and nephews? It's very likely a younger person, or are you in school, or is someone you care about going to school? Because pages will be young people or people learning new things. So we decide, do you have such a person in your life? Or is this you? Are you in school? Right? There it is. So now we know it's a person. Okay, but it could be more as well. The Page of Swords can talk about technology and use of technology. And very specifically your web page or your social media. So it might be talking about that. The Page of Swords could tell you to go to school, or could tell you to communicate more effectively. It could encourage you to write a book. So there's all of those things. And I would just list all of those possibilities and say, does this fit? Does this fit? Does this fit? It's multiple choice. Is that the most psychic thing in the world? No, but it works. It absolutely works. And a lot of times the people will say, well, it's more this and this, but not that. Or it will be every one of those things is true. So it's a good technique. Try it. And yes, we can see this does have a wide range. Gianna, is there anything in this imagery of the card that suggests communication? No. And this is where I break away from a lot of modern tarotists. Like, I think a good tarot reader should be able to read with 78 pieces of numbered notebook paper. Yes, the cards can speak. Yes, they do. One thing I will say about the weight images, if this is your kid, they're very androgynous. And I never go with pages or female, knights or male. That's never worked for me. But if I look at it and it reads male in that moment, then I think your kid is male. If I look at that and it's reading female in the moment, then I think your kid's female. That's a way, The images will speak, But I don't like letting the images speak be your first go-to. Because you're right, there is nothing in this card that really talks about communication, but we know that pages are about communication, and we know that swords are about communication. So I realize I just committed a great tarot sin there by saying, don't even pay attention to the picture. But the thing is, don't pay attention to the picture first. The picture will help. Like here we're purple and green. Is there other purple and green? Where are we looking? What's the card over here that we're looking at? There are ways the images will help. For sure. For sure. Hey, Ness, good to see you. And Justine, see, this is why I still have yet to branch out reading with other decks. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let me scroll back here. Let me scroll back and see what I've missed. Okay, so for you, Christina, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Seven of Pentacles reversed tells me you're not done yet. Okay, fair. Jen Schultz, at what point are you pulling too many cards? First of all, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. And Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy, thanks for being a member again. Thanks for being here and glad you're here. So Jen, at what point are you pulling too many cards? When it starts to feel muddy? When they're no longer giving information and it's all just crap. And you'll have that feeling. You're like, this is just crap. And there are some cards that will come up for me that say enough already. The Four of Swords and the Fool will tell me, whatever tree you're barking up here, you're not getting anything, so get a different question. At that point, you pick up the cards, you shuffle, and you try an adjacent question. You go at it a different way. Absolutely, that's a great question. Thank you. Okay. So now, DH, good to see you. Thanks for being a member. Seven of Swords reversed. Is the person trustworthy or is something deceitful going on? So for me, Seven of Swords reversed is he might be accused, but there's no evidence of wrongdoing here. For me, Seven of Swords reversed is integrity. I take like an opposite with that. So Seven of Swords upright, we got a problem, but we don't know what the problem is. It could be a trust problem. It could be an honesty problem. Seven of Swords reversed, honesty is there even if you don't believe it. That's where I go with it. Tortoiseshell Moon Kathy, not been here for a while. We've missed you. New job, new hours, new yikes. Glad you're here today. Thank you, thank you. All right, and thanks for that feedback, Jen. Freeze shadow, that's very helpful. I like the idea it can represent more than one thing in a reading. Do you know, I had been a pro reader, full-time, for probably 10 years before I wrapped my brain around that possibility, and it was in practice. No one taught it. It was just like, well, wait a minute, this could also mean this. It's like, oh, yes, that's also true. Oh, well, now I know. All right. Okay, let's look at some other cards that I feel have a wide range, and they're all majors. The Moon. Man, this can mean so many different things. So what do you do with a card that can mean so many different things? This is where I might go to a whole other deck, which is what I'm doing now because I don't want to screw up the cards I've pulled to play later on. So, because this could be follow your intuition. It could be do not trust the path you're on. It could be, you have secret enemies. It could be pay attention to your dreams. So this is where a clarifying card can be super, super helpful. And I got the Ace of Cups reversed. So now I'm going to say there's something going on in your love life where you don't have the whole story, right? So this is where clarifying cards can be very, very helpful when a card has a wide range of meanings. What other wide ranges do we see? So the Hermit, it can be wisdom or it can be loneliness. I mean, that's pretty wide. Judgment, it's the end of something, but it can also talk about mediumship and communication. The High Priestess, it can be balance, it can be wisdom, it can be intuition, it can be perfectionism. It can be a woman It can be about keeping secrets, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, depending. And our Hierophant, as we saw before, the card of marriage. But the thing about the Hierophant is this can be like a know-it-all, dogmatic asshole, or it can be real spiritual wisdom. Which is it? Well, this is where we clarify. And in this case, justice reversed, definitely the a-hole, right? So those are, some things to think about. And what we're, sort of hearing so far is a little bit of intimidation because I don't want to get it wrong. And that's where, as Pamela said, you look at surrounding cards, we pull other cards, we pull more cards, we do clarification. And if it's a mess, we just pick it up, shuffle, and change the question a little bit. That's the way that works for me. Okay, now, Mediha Ness, this is so interesting. I had the Hermit come up as the safe once. What I was looking for was there, but I didn't see it until too late. That makes sense, though. I could see how the Hermit would be a safe. It's alone, it's on its own, that totally makes sense. And that's the thing. There can be moments when a card means something that you've never seen it mean before, and it will never mean again. And we just sort of have to play with that. Okay, so now let's talk about spread positions. If you're working with a positioned spread, and a weird card shows up in the positioned spread. Okay, let's start with a spread that has a crossing position or an obstacle position. The card that falls into this position is, this is your biggest problem, this is your obstacle, okay? This is your biggest problem, this is the obstacle. WTF, how does the sun be an obstacle? What would you do with this? I'm going to give them all to you. I'm going to give you a group of them and say the name, tag it with the name of the card and tell me how you would interpret it. So how would you interpret the sun as your biggest obstacle? And again, say sun and give me the interpretation. How would you interpret, man, I had these all together the way I wanted them and I still screwed it up. Okay, how would you interpret the 10 of Pentacles as your obstacle or biggest problem? Tag it and let me know. How would you interpret the Page of Cups as your biggest problem? Okay, so these are your biggest problems. The Sun, the 10 of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. How would you interpret these as big problems? Here we go. Betty Fletcher, perfect. Your biggest problem with the Sun is a narcissist. Someone around you is acting in a narcissistic way. Claire C., for the Sun, thanks for being a member. Thanks for being here. You're being too optimistic or ego is in the way. Makes sense. Gianna, biggest obstacle, needing to be the center of attention. Absolutely. It's that ego thing. Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy, once again, thanks for being a member. Toxic positivity. Oh, so good. Diana Price, again, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Pride, unrealistic outlook, overlooking possible problems, denial. Perfect. Justine. I don't know what to do with that. Hashtag sun, hashtag clarity, pleasure, satisfaction. Right. How is that your biggest problem? Got it. Jeannie Mnuchin, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Someone is outshining you or you are overpowering others. That's good. Yeah. Jen Schultz, thanks for being a member. Too optimistic to see clearly, fake positivity. Good. Well done. Very, very well done. The only other thing I could come up with would be geographic. You're in a cold place and you want to be in a warm place, or you're in a warm place and you don't want to be there anymore. That's the only one I might possibly add to that. Okay, 10 of Pentacles. Your family is your biggest issue. That's from Gianna. Very good. From Betty. Yeah, smothered by family. Absolutely. Back to the Sun. Free shadow. Someone is telling the querent they are a success, or the querent thinks they're successful, but deep down their spirit isn't aligned. That's good. That's good. Justine for Sun. It would have to be, but remember, this is a crossing card. So it doesn't have to be reversed because it's always red. Your obstacle card, your crossing card is always red, ill-dignified, right? It would have to be reversed for me to interpret it as lacking clarity as my biggest obstacle. My inner child wants playtime bad, but I can't really enjoy pleasurable activity yet. Yeah, I want to play, but I don't have the time or the space to play. That's a good one. That's a good one. Gianna, biggest problem, Page of Cups in a dream world. Heather Roberts, so good to see you here. 10 of Pentacles, a problem with money or status. Absolutely. Absolutely. Claire C, 10 of Pentacles, family demands or the longing for a happy family. Diana, the Sun, stealing the spotlight. Oh, Tortoiseshell Moon. Kathy, I was hoping someone would say this. 10 of Pentacles as an obstacle, ancestral trauma. Yes. Betty Flesher, could the Sun be not wanting to be pregnant? It could. It could. Claire, yes. Crossing cards or obstacle cards are always red, ill-dignified, whether they're reversed or not. And in a crossing position, you don't even think about it, right? When it's literally crossed. So yeah, there that is. All right, so that was a fun exercise. And that is actually a really high-level exercise. Claire C, 10 of Pentacles, inheritance. There's an issue with the will. Yes, Jeannie Mnuchin came up with it at the same time. Oh, Justine, 10 of Pentacles comes up as my obstacle, feeling left out. Yeah, why do all these people have family and dogs and houses and I don't? Sure. And it could be a real estate issue. That's the other thing. 10 of Pentacles is the real estate card. So it could be an issue with real estate as well. Gianna, 9 of Cups as a problem. I'm not going to go through the time of finding the 9 of Cups, but that's a good one. It could be all of that toxic positivity stuff. But remember that the 9 of Cups is also a wish card. And so it could be you're wishing without acting. Like being one of those people like, I'm just manifesting it. I'm not doing any work. I'm just manifesting it. It could be that. Or it could literally be the opposite. Like you're not happy. You're not satisfied. The 10 of Cups is what you want and need, but you don't have it. That's what I would say. Anyone else? Tag it 9 of Cups and let me know. Free Shadow, 10 of Pentacles. Querent thinks a family will solve their issues or the family is really bringing them down. Could be real family or work family or group of friends. Sure. Sure. Absolutely. Diana Price, 10 of Pentacles, black sheep of the family. Oh, this is good. With the 9, I like that. The 9 of Cups, Justine had a good one. Like you're in a glut. You're being a glutton. Too much chocolate. Or you're being too complacent. Or like you're having way too much fun. You're indulging too much. Overindulgence. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I hadn't thought of it, but it's smart. That's really good. Okay, good work. Okay, let's do another one. This time, it's the significator. Many spreads will have a position for this is you at this current time. This is who you are at this current time. Suppose this is who you are at this current time. And suppose you're a professional reader reading for a client you do not know, and this card comes up to say who they are at this current time. You are certainly not going to say in your reading, well, it looks like you haven't been completely honest. I mean, there are times you will say that in a reading, but that's hard. That's hard. What do we do with this? Tag it 7 of Swords. It's in the significator position. What does this say about a person that we can say without losing the client, and that could be true? Okay. Jeannie Mnuchin, Page of Cups, feeling like you're over your head in a love situation. That makes sense. Lady Lenormand, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Can the 7 of Swords ever be positive upright? Yeah, it can be. It can be, and here's how. And not necessarily positive, but not like there is a thief among us, Oh, there it is. This is me walking on eggshells 24/7 around my narcissistic family. Yeah, that makes sense. Seven of Swords, trust yourself more. Betty, yes, exactly. The Seven of Swords can be about trust, can be about a situation where you don't feel safe. And so it could be you have a hard time trusting, you don't trust yourself, you're in a situation that you don't know what to trust, you have trust issues. It could be any of those things. Gianna, Seven of Swords, it looks like things are so hard that you're going to risky lengths to get what you need. Sure, I love that. Dina Moscow, it's good to see you. Seven of Swords, are you dealing with something that's difficult to face? Ooh, so good, so good. Christina, Seven of Swords, use or take only what you need. But how do you do that as a significator? You are a person who should use or take what it, no, that one isn't going to work as a significator unless you can put it into a sentence that makes it believe that I believe, right? You are a person who needs to only take, that's hard. That's hard. As a significator, what do you want to do with that? Okay. And I'm going to give you two more. Five of Wands. You're the Five of Wands, or you're the Wheel of Fortune. So, the reality is, like in my head, I'm like, Wheel of Fortune, are you bipolar? I'm not going to say that right away, but it could be. Five of Wands, are you creating conflict wherever you go? You're not going to say that in the beginning of the reading. It might be true. You might file that away in the back of your head, but you're not going to say that. What are you going to say? Claire C, Seven of Swords, picking up the pieces. Looks like you're a person who is picking up the pieces after some difficulty. Yeah, I could see that. Justine. Tagging me, I've heard you interpret the devil in this way too. Right, sure. Like there's a lot of heavy shit you don't feel like dealing with but need to, sure. Tortoiseshell Moon Kathy, I had contradicting cards recently. Situation was the Two of Swords. Challenge card was the Chariot. Advice card was the Four of Swords. Am I to get moving or go to sleep? Right. Absolutely. 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 We'll play with that in a minute. Betty, okay, Five of Wands, don't be so defensive, but how do you do that as a significator? What do you say when you're describing a person? Would you say, it looks like you might have a tendency, especially right now, to be overly defensive? Would you say that? I don't know. Competitive, there it is, Christina. Looks like you can be a very competitive person. Might be that you're involved in a competition right now or that you're feeling competitive in a certain way. That works. I love that. That's good. That's good. Ness, Seven of Swords can be doing the right thing for yourself, which might feel wrong due to upbringing. Ooh, like you said today, making money can feel off, but doesn't have to be. Right, a competitive person, right? I could as easily, with the Five of Wands, I could as easily say collaborative as I could say competitive. And I realize this doesn't look like a happy collaboration, but if you've ever been in a collaborative group, it can look exactly like this. And that may be where the magic happens. So I would also say collaboration. You're a collaborative person. Seven of Wands, Seven of Swords, conservative. Seven of Swords, I could totally see like you're not necessarily conservative politically, but conservative like not taking big risks. You don't take big risks. I could totally see that. Oh, Claire C, Five of Wands, a divergent thinker. All righty. Okay, what about the Wheel of Fortune? A person is the Wheel of Fortune. That's a hard one. Because I don't want to say to someone, it looks like you're a lucky person, because that's weird. I don't want to say it looks like you're bipolar. How does the Wheel of Fortune describe a person in a way that you could say it to that person? Here's one. It looks like you're a person who has survived a lot of ups and downs and come out on top. That works. Ah, I love this. Christina, it looks like you're a person who knows how to go with the flow. Perfect. That's perfect. Ah, Jeannie Mnuchin, wheel. Person has many sides to them and is fluid. Absolutely. Chloe Co, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Could the Wheel of Fortune ever be going with the flow? Yes, absolutely. Oh, Lady Lenormand, Seven of Swords, innovative and free thinker. Chloe Co, this is a class. We're not doing readings today. We're doing study, but come back tomorrow at noon and you can have a reading. Betty Fletcher, Seven of Swords. What if he is retrieving swords someone stole from him? You may be a person recovering from some dishonesty, some situation. Yeah, that could be too. Claire C., Wheel of Fortune, a person who takes chances, certainly. And Justine, you know how you keep your eye on the prize with the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. Yeah, Peggy Lou, Wheel, you just keep rolling on. Yeah, perfect. So, this is how we work to interpret cards when they come up in positions that feel contradictory. Now, let's talk about I'm going to give you two things. One is a Mary Kay Greer thing and one is a me thing. If you really don't know what to do with a card, you have no idea. Like I've had situations where I've got an 11 card reading, 11 card spread. I know exactly what 10 of these cards mean. There's one card that I am dumbfounded on and I don't know what to do with. Even in a professional reading, I'll say that. I'll say, look, I'm understanding all of this, but there's one thing here I'm still not understanding. Now, we talk about the card. Even if I haven't been talking about the cards, I don't always talk about the cards in a reading. Sometimes I just give the information. But if we're stuck, we're going to talk about the card. Mary Kay Greer says, simply say the name of the card aloud. So you say, Wheel of Fortune. And Mary says, just wait and see what comes next, and it will come. And this has worked for me. I have seen this work. Mine is, I describe every aspect of the card, not necessarily the picture, but all the things that the card could mean. And then as I'm saying it, I figure out how it fits in, just by talking it through. Sometimes in a reading, whether it's a reading for someone else or a reading for yourself, professional or casual, you have to talk it through. And that will help come out of the contradiction and into clarity. All right. This is interesting. Betty Fletcher, Wheel of Fortune, round and round you go, maybe with a relationship or something. Yeah, that's good. You know, it feels like right now you're going round and round, like you're stuck in a loop or stuck in a pattern that isn't maybe serving you. Yeah, absolutely. Pamela's insight. Wheel could also represent someone needing seasonal changes. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Could the wheel also represent someone in menopause? It could. And it could be, it looks like you're either needing a lot of changes or going through a lot of changes right now. Sure. Lady Lenormand, Wheel of Fortune reminds me of your blog this week about luck. Someone who has an attitude that makes them feel lucky. I think you're a very optimistic person. Yes. Oh, Jen Schultz. Could the wheel be a non-binary person? I believe it could be. And like if you know the person is non-binary, they've identified themselves already with they, them pronouns, you can say, you know, this card represents you as a person, and it really is perfect for someone who identifies as non-binary. That's actually really beautiful and affirming. I love that. Diana, you keep repeating the same mistakes and are stuck in a rut. I don't love that as like an opening description of a person, but it could work. It could fit. Absolutely. Okay, let us move on to, suppose we're going to do 2 card readings. I'm pulling 2 cards to answer a question. That's the format. I'm not saying why that's the format. That just is the format. From my perspective, why is it the format? Because it's a good tool for teaching. So what I did was I thought about some common questions that we get in readings, and some unlikely cards. Okay, here's the question. Is there a future for this relationship? Page of Pentacles and the World. WTF. What do you do with that? Is there a future for this relationship? Tell me how you would answer that question. Tag it relationship. Page of Pentacles and the World. Is there a future for this relationship? What would you do with that? While you're thinking about that, I'm going to give you another one. Okay. Will I get the job I applied for? 4 of Swords, 10 of Wands. Will I get the job I applied for? What would you say? What would you say? And obviously, you know, I would say, let's pull more cards. But if you had to interpret with these cards, what would you do? Is there a future for this relationship? Page of Pentacles and the World. Will I get the job I applied for? 4 of Swords, 10 of Wands. Okay, so Justine, maybe way down the line, this person is probably focused on their own growth and career for now. Yeah, fair. That's fair. So Justine says maybe in the future, but not now. Gianna, is there a future to this relationship? Not sure how long it would last, but the relationship has big lessons in it either way and is not a waste. Very well done. Very well done, because you did the trick we talked about earlier. You took the timing question, did not answer the timing question, but still gave a good answer. And I am here to tell you, with 30 years of full-time professional tarot reading in my past, under my belt, however you would say that, I'm here to tell you that maybe 30 to 40% of the time, we don't answer the question that was asked. We answer the adjacent question that can be answered. And clients are always satisfied when we do this if we do it well. I think that's important. Okay, Dina, for the job one. After a long interview process, you may find the job is too much work for the money. See, and this is brilliant. Yes, this is what we do with contradictory cards. Here's the surprise twist ending. The contradictory cards, many times, it's not a simple yes or no. If it was the Ace of Pentacles and the 4 of Wands, we would say, yeah, you'll get the job. Great, over and done. But when the cards are contradictory, very often there is more information than just yes or no. Beautiful, beautiful. Ah, beautiful. Mediha Ness, the relationship. Here we have a kid in a big world, good intentions, but maybe not mature enough, for sure. For sure. Justine, for this one, 4 of Swords, 10 of Wands. For the job, maybe you're contending, but barely. Keep trying, but there's more hard work to be done. You have some more development to go before you get the job. Okay, good. Good, good, good. All right, let me give you one more. Will I... Where am I? Okay. Will I be able to afford the house I want? 6 of Cups, no, sorry, wrong one. 6 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles. Will I be able to afford the house I want? What would you do with that? 6 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles. Okay. And for the job one, Ness says maybe didn't do enough, takes a lot of work to get there. Okay. So what about this one? Will I be able to afford the house I want? Six of Cups, Four of Pentacles. What would you say there? What would you say there? Now, while you're thinking, I'm going to go back to Justine's consternation earlier about the fact that sometimes a card could mean either yes or no. There's a real margin for error. My answer is ask more questions, pull more cards whenever that happens. And maybe whenever that happens, that itself is a reading. The fact that it could go either way, maybe that's a reading in itself. Look, it's kind of unclear here. It looks like it could go either way. That's your answer. So now let's ask another question and move on. In other words, if there's a confusion or a contradiction, that goes into your interpretation because we know this. Sometimes the cards just flow and the reading is so easy and clear, and sometimes not. When it's not, there's an opportunity to get more information. Okay, for the house. Okay, well, actually, hang on. Okay. Yep, for the house. From Ness. Stay in the place you know. Don't even try. Don't even try. Fair. Claire, for the relationship, yes, one is practical and lifted by the other's zest for life. Okay, that works. And so what happens if, like some readers are saying yes and some readers are saying no for the same cards? This goes back to Wald Amberstone, what Wald Amberstone told me back in the 90s. We trust the universe to bring the right querent with the right question to the right reader with the right deck at the right time. And so there is a level of trust there that has to be there, right? Right? Justine, for this one. Yes, if you start budgeting now and come up with a plan to save. It's a 4 out of 10, so it may take a while, but it speaks to your heart, so you should make a solid plan. I love it. Christina, 6 of Cups and 4 of Pentacles. Within your heart, you know you should hold on to what you have. Ooh, very good. Okay, so we are coming to the end of our time. And I want to go back again to this concept of what if, another way there's contradiction is if it's just not resonating. The reading isn't resonating. What do you do if it's not resonating? Whether you're reading for yourself or reading for someone else. Go back and think about every single thing the card can mean. Take a piece of paper and write down every single thing the card can mean. And then you'll figure out how it resonates. And if you're reading for someone else, sometimes it's not resonating because they're really not ready to hear it. And you have to figure it out. How attached are you to your interpretation? Are you feeling it very strongly, or might you be wrong? It'll happen sometimes that you will interpret the card wrong. New information will come in the course of the reading. You'll be like, as it turns out, I think this card is speaking more to this than that. And you have to be willing to be able to do that. Okay, back to the house. Betty, maybe you want a neighborhood that is safe, but you can't afford it. Sure. Claire, back to the house. If you're buying an older, charming house and stay within your means. Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy, you've been saving hard and prioritizing your budget to get the house that has your heart. There it is. All right. Justine says, I love this exercise. It's so fun to see how different we interpret it. Future class, absolutely. Because I had so many notes for this class and we didn't even get to all of them. I'll show you. Hang on. See? All the notes. We haven't even done all of them. That's what it looks like when I have class notes. Crazy, right? All right. So, my friends. Jen Schultz. For the house, do you think that you love this house because it is in budget or affordable, or you're trying to convince yourself you love it? Very good, very good. Very good. So self-reading, right? Ness, when I read for myself, sometimes I resist the meaning. Tortoiseshell Moon Kathy, it's harder for me to read for myself sometimes. I have a tendency to just go to the positive. It depends on the mood and the personality. Some of us will always go to the negative. Some of us will always go positive. That's why it's good when you read for yourself to talk it out. Make a video for yourself of you reading for yourself, just like you're reading for someone else, or write it out, or just say it aloud. And that will help you. It will help you connect to your intuition, and it will help you be in that place of truth. And that will help. And, oh, this is beautiful. Betty, tarot is deep and so fascinating. I love it so much. Me too. Me too. And I love all of you for coming to play and practice and be with us here today. Okay, so the next class, we're going to title it the WTF class. I'll do it. I'll absolutely do it. And I'll do it soon because I think this is so important. So we are in our last 4 minutes. This is time for any question at all regarding anything that confuses you about tarot. The things I really want to hammer home: when in doubt, ask more questions and pull more cards. If it turns into mud, you know what I mean when I say that, pick it up, shuffle it, and rephrase the question and try again. If you're not sure about a card, say its name aloud. Oh, I never gave you the second part of that. Mary Greer says, say the name of the card aloud and it will come. I say do that, and I think I did say this. Say everything you know about the card. Remember that a card can mean more than one thing at the same time. Remember the multiple choice technique. Okay, Peggy Lou, we could do another hour of this, right? Free Shadow, this has been so helpful. Love to hear everyone's interpretations. Yeah, thank you everyone for coming to play. It really, oh, and this is good. What if you get major arcana like all the time? So, I'm about to rant. Here's my rant. I hate it when tarot readers say, well, the major arcana is things you can't change and the minor arcana is things you can. Or the major arcana is spiritual and the minor arcana is mundane. If you're getting a lot of major arcana cards, I say that as a time to pay attention. And if you get a lot of major arcana cards a lot, it's because you are very focused on your spiritual journey, but interpret the cards as both mundane and spiritual. Seriously. Peggy Lou. I don't remember the context of the Eight of Wands. I remember it came up, Peggy Lou, but I don't remember the context. Help me out. Christina, I was told it meant insanity. Who told you that? And when can I slap them? Insanity? First of all, I don't even know that we use that word particularly. I think that, if we're talking about mental health issues, there are cards that can talk about that, but getting a preponderance of major arcana cards would not lead us in that direction at all. I am so sorry someone said that to you. No. Hey, Nalini, thanks for dropping by. It's good to see you. Oh, and we are in our last minute. So yeah. If you get a lot of majors, it does not mean insanity. It could mean you're a very deep thinker. And from that perspective, I think sometimes deep thinkers will think themselves into a loop. That could happen. Oh, what luck energy is coming? Peggy Lou Leven's Eight of Wands. Unexpected and quick. Unexpected quick things. Absolutely. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. Special shout out to the members and moderators. Thank you everyone for participating. Those of you who are watching the replay, thanks for being here. Drop a comment. We absolutely appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow at noon with your Friday weekly wrap up. Thank you so much for coming to play today. I really, really appreciate you. Take care.